Okay, today we are going to be constructing the cube from our flat drawing. So each student is going to get a pair of scissors that you're going to use to cut around the edge of the drawing. As a reminder, when you use scissors, the small circle is where your thumb goes, and then the larger jelly bean shape is where your fingers go on the bottom. This is the correct way to hold scissors. The best way to cut with scissors is to put the paper all the way into the back edge of the scissors to cut from this portion instead of just trying to cut from the top of the scissors. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting around the outside edge of my entire template. I'm cutting around the tabs and into these corners and along the side edges. I need to be careful as I'm cutting. Do your best to cut on the lines. It's okay if you accidentally cut through something. We can always tape or glue the paper back together. But the edges that I want to be the most careful of are the sides that don't have the tab, because this is the box itself. And then when you finish cutting, you can always look at your edges, and if there's white paper showing, you can just use your Sharpie markers to fill in certain colors. Please be careful as you're cutting. Be aware of where your fingers are underneath the paper so that you're not cutting your fingers. Okay, so I'm cutting around the tabs, but then straight along the sides, right here on the cross section. I'm going to go along the edge of the tab here. I want to make sure I'm not cutting off the corner of my square. Okay. So when I have this finished, now I'm ready to do what we call scoring. When you want paper to fold exactly on a line, if you gently take an item that is a little bit pointy, like an open paper clip, I can gently set my stencil on top of my square and pull that along the edge. I am barely pressing as I do this. I don't want to press so hard that I tear through my paper. But this process is called scoring. So what you're doing is you're making a slight indentation in the paper so that the paper knows where you want it to fold. And I'm lining it up with my marker drawing. I'm putting that stencil right along the edge of my marker drawing. And I want to do that around all my square edges that have tabs and around this center one. But again, I'm using soft hand pressure. I'm not pushing very hard because I do not want my paper to tear. I just want the score marks to make my paper fold easier. Okay, now I'm going to take these tabs and I'm going to fold them back behind my drawing. And they should fold pretty easily if you scored along the edge of the paper. And I want to be as precise and as careful as I can with this process, because this needs to fit together like a puzzle. So if things are not precise, they're not going to attach, or your cube's not going to build together very well. So once I fold this side of the cross, I'm going to open it back up so that I can fold the other sides of this box easier. Open it up, fold this back, open it up, fold this back. So you want to make sure that between every square you did a fold and that all of your tabs are folded backwards also. Okay, once I've got that finished, now I'm going to begin my gluing. So to make my cube, I think it's easiest to start with the top of the cross and the bottom of the cross, and I'm going to fold those around. So the top edge of my cross is going to attach to the bottom of the cross down here. So that's the first set I'm going to glue together. Once this is glued, then I just take this top piece and I shut that, and then I fold the top piece down and I shut that. So when we do gluing, you're going to use this little baby glue bottle, and you're just going to put a bead of glue or a line of glue along that tab. This is the bottom of my cross. I'm going to attach it to the top of my cross. And I have to be patient. I have to hold this in place where my fingers are on the inside, pushing back behind, and my fingers on the outside. I want to hold it until it is sticky and it has attached and it's not going to slide anymore. So I would say hold it for at least a minute. Look at the clock, watch the countdown timer, hold that still. Then what you're going to do before you attach this top piece is you want to lift these tabs up. We want to pull them up a little bit so that this paper has nice contact along the surface when we shut it. Then I'm going to take my glue and do a small bead around all three sides. And then I'm going to shut this. And I want to push my box so that it's right along the edge. So see how this white gap is showing here, this white space? I'm going to push that in. And then I want to hold that in place so all three sides have contact on the glue and they're all pushed in right up along the edge of my box. And then I'm going to repeat that on the opposite side. I'm going to hold it for about a minute till it's in place. Then I'm going to flip that over, open my lid, pull up these tabs a little bit, get my glue right along the edge of that tab, just a little bit, and then I'm going to shut my lid, push the other sides in to make sure they're right up along that edge. I don't want the white tabs showing. And then you can see how I kind of rest my thumbs and fingers along all three sides to make sure the glue is getting nice contact.